Your Royal Highness and Chancellor, we live in an age of mergers. They don't in all instances inspire a celebratory mood, but the coming together of St. Mary's Hospital Medical School and the Imperial College of Science and Technology is an exhilarating occasion worthy of celebration. We can safely assume that you, ma'am, are in tune with the spirit by the very fact that you have so graciously consented to be with us this afternoon. Mergers in the city can happen quite suddenly, sometimes before one of the parties has actually noticed that it's happening. The union we are celebrating today was not of this kind. No one, ma'am, could accuse the Dean of St. Mary's or the Rector of Imperial College of proceeding with indecent haste. The hierarchical committee structure of your university, which to the untutored eye might appear to be devised to stop anyone doing anything new, ensured that our progress was steady rather than precipitate. I should add that the spirit which informed this thorough examination of our purposes was benign, the Senate and the Court approved. Thereafter, we still had to seek the blessings of both Houses of Parliament, which they most generously gave, so that the Imperial College Act received the royal assent on the first day of August. Clearly, one must have very good reasons for embarking on such a venture, and we had the best. There are structural arguments such as economy of scale, and we'll try to achieve that, but such benefits do not appear instantly on the signing of documents. The real motivation for the union is far more fundamental, and I would add, far more interesting. It is, I think, one of the fascinations of science that matters which at one stage in history seem totally unconnected turn out subsequently to be different facets of the same entity. Electricity and magnetism, for example, or more pertinent to today's celebration, inorganic and organic chemistry. Nowhere has such confluence of scientific principles been more in evidence than in those exploited in order to cure the sick and those which, at least initially, took the form of a disinterested study of nature, of pure research. At Imperial College, a great deal of the work in biology, biochemistry, physics, chemistry is concerned with themes which have or may have clinical applications. The applied sciences and engineering are also much engaged. There's a large effort of research on physiological flow, pioneering work on hip replacement and mechanical engineering, medical instrumentation and imaging and electrical engineering. We have in the past collaborated with medical researchers in many different places, including St. Mary's, but we have lacked the direct daily confrontation with the clinical imperative. We have lacked the communion and chance encounters with medical colleagues. Whilst St. Mary's has outstanding science departments, they are small and hence inevitably highly specialized. The more intimate contact with the larger science and engineering departments at Imperial College will surely further enhance their glittering reputation. We are delighted that it has been possible for us to join with a most distinguished medical school, an institution known for its inspiring teaching and brilliant research, an institution which, as you, ma'am, will be very much aware, has benefited enormously from the continuing support and inspiration given over so many years by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother.
Chancellor, I confess to a crisis of identity. In March, I received from the Secretary and Clerk to the Governors of Imperial College a letter which read as follows: "Congratulations on behalf of the Chairman and Governors on yet another victory in the hospital's Rugby Cup. The ease and virility with which your win was achieved belies your present role as the demure affianced. I look forward to a honeymoon tussle over the trousers, but meanwhile we happily bask in reflected glory. Our relatively small size and lady's name would seem to confer upon us the distaff role, but I must admit to neither feeling nor looking bride-like. Nor am I old enough to be the bride's father, for the bride, if bride she be, is indeed 134 years old. On the rugby field, neither our muscles nor our manners are those of ladies. Even with Imperial, we could more than hold our own. But we live in an age when ladies do hold their own, so that perhaps proves nothing. At Henley, however, I must concede we should have to leave the ladies' plate to Imperial and take to the punt. Yet it may not have escaped your cancelarial eye, ma'am, that in the last varsity boat race, about which, as a Cambridge man, I should hesitate to say much in front of my Oxford wife, there was in the vanquished Cambridge 8 an Imperial man, while in the victorious Oxford boat, that flagship of recycled talent, there sat and rode most gallantly a St. Mary's man. If you factor for our different sizes, all the Cambridge crew and the cocks should have been Imperial men, or women, I refer to the cocks. Would Oxford still have won? And if we turn from the river to the groves of Academe, Imperial, to hold its own by that same token, should in its proud existence have produced 20 Nobel Prize winners and 250 Fellows of the Royal Society. My confusion, I hope, may be forgiven. Our 550 students are nearly half women, by which, of course, I mean to say nearly half our students are all ladies. But Imperial has its ladies too. Whoever wears the trousers, St. Mary's gladly forms part of Imperial College of Science, Technology, and Medicine, as an equal but smaller partner, if you see what I mean. Proud of academic excellence, of intellectual and cultural diversity, and of humanity and dedication, which, as one of our students said on the recent BBC Horizon program, is what medicine is all about.
Professor Clark, Rector and Dean. The University of London was just 18 years old when St Mary's Hospital's foundation stone was laid in 1845 by Prince Albert, followed remarkably quickly by the medical school in 1854, which in those days was unique. But the university played no significant part in medical education until the turn of the century. And in 1904, the St Mary's Gazette did concede that the University of London has become a distinct influence. The ultimate result will, we feel sure, be for the good of medical education in general. History doesn't quite relate in this instance what Imperial College had to say when it started its work in 1907. St Mary's has been greatly helped over the years by its friends, and perhaps particularly encouraged by its patron, my grandmother, the Queen Mother, and also by the Rothschild family. Mr. Anthony de Rothschild led St. Mary's Hospital Medical School into independent existence within the University of London in 1948, at the time of the National Health Service Act. His son, Mr. Evelyn de Rothschild, as president of the recently demised School Council and now chairman of the delegacy and member of the governing body of Imperial, has led St. Mary's into Imperial College. We have already heard of examples of the close relationship in the respective research works of those colleges. Now, their respective talents in the scientific and medical field, I think, is something that the Chancellor should probably steer well clear of at moments like this. But suffice to say that the talent in both colleges seems to me to indicate a very exciting future. Mergers are about building bridges, and if that is the case, St. Mary's Hospital Medical School and Imperial are already building them. And indeed, the music we have just been enjoying this afternoon and will continue to enjoy seems to me to be a tremendous example of their ability to work together already, and we thank them very much for that. A determined attempt is to be made to develop the complementary strength of Imperial in the physical sciences and St. Mary's in medicine. Initially, with the foundation of a combined teaching and research unit in Vision, based jointly at the Western Ophthalmic Hospital, with a new chair of ophthalmology and also a new chair of visual science in the biophysics section, the physics department at Imperial. In neurophysical science and neonatal monitoring systems, there are major joint research programs, and no doubt others will follow. This merger will bring obvious strengths to two already prestigious institutions. Like other institutions in the University of London, however, they face some of the difficulties that the metropolis brings. And the major one of these is adequate accommodation for their students. Imperial College has a high proportion of postgraduate and overseas students, and it is essential that these students feel secure and able to live within their sometimes meagre means. The new Imperial College has student accommodation high on its list of priorities, and a major appeal is to be launched to provide more residencies for students, particularly for postgraduate students attracted to the new educational opportunities now being offered in and around medicine. The metropolis and the network that the largest university in the United Kingdom, the University of London, provide, add to the quality of education of its students. The marvellous libraries, museums, theatres, and indeed the city itself add to the attraction. There are plans to expand the provision of post-experience education, and the new management school here will have an important contribution to make. The aim is to provide courses for general practitioners and hospital administrators, and to reveal the advantages of improved management techniques. Finally, continuity is so important. The traditions and qualities that have been the strengths of St. Mary's and Imperial College will be the backbone of that continuity, onto which this merger will build its own muscle and form. This is an exciting joining of two proud institutions with many great achievements already to their credit into a potentially even more brilliant one. Congratulations on your new charter, and it is now my pleasure to present to the chairman of the governing body a specially bound copy of the Imperial College Act and its revised charter.
Thank you. Glad delighted to receive it from you.
you.